Yo, so people, we have got this new film, which they're saying it's not a sequel, right? It's a film set in the universe of, right? I'm talking about Bird Box Barcelona, right? This one is written and directed by David and Álex Pastor. Okay. So the film is then produced by Chris Morgan, Nura Valas, uh, Adrian Guerrera, and Dylan Clark. It's executive produced by Suzanne Bear, the original film's director, Layla Cole, um, Ainsley Davis, Ryan Lewis, Josh Malerman, right, who wrote the original book, which came out in 2014, and Brian Williams. The music is by Zetia Montes. Daniel Ariano is on cinematography. Marty Roca edits the piece. Anna Gonzalez handled the casting. Layla Collette, production design. Art direction is from Per Carreras and Aurelio Godolio. Set decoration is Nura Gardiaya. Costume design is Alberto Valsarcel. Hair and makeup, we have Laura Garcia, Maria Margugat, Patricia Reyes, Marta Ruiz Sanchez, and Lucia Solano. Our cast. We have got Sebastian, played by Mario Casas. His daughter, Anna, played by Alejandra Howard. We then have got Claire, played by Georgina Campbell. Sophia, played by Nalia Schuberth. Right. There's Liliana, played by Michelle Jenner. Roberto, played by Gonzalo Di Castro. Isabel, played by Lola Dunaz. Laura, played by Celia Fregerio. Rafa, played by Patrick Credo. We've got Marcel, played by Jorge Azin. Father Esteban, played by Leonardo Sabagalilia. Who else do we have? Octavio, played by Diego Calva. Rinko, played by Kotami Nishawashi. Right. Ilana, played by Ina Conanes. Greta, played by Carolina Mejiu. They're probably our main lot. There's so many people in this one compared to the first. All right, now the gist of the story is this. After a mysterious force decimates the world's population by causing all who see it to take their lives, Sebastian and his young daughter Anna must navigate their own journey of survival through the desolate streets of Barcelona. But as they form an uneasy alliance with other survivors and make their way towards a safe haven, a threat more sinister than the unseen creatures grows. So, yeah. Now, the original Bird Box came out in 2018, right? And I'm just like, yo, was it that long ago? Seems kind of crazy, right? But then you remember, oh yeah, it was like one of the first Netflix films to actually do something, right? There's a lot of the other ones felt like straight to video. You know what I mean? Some were fine, but I think this was the first one that was like, oh, this could be in the cinema. This was good, really good. Up for awards and all of that jazz. There may have been a few before that I might be forgetting, but it's something like that, right? But the original Bird Box, that we knew nothing, right? We knew nothing going into that one. This film, we have more answers, right? We're in a world and people seem to know a bit more, right? People seem to know a bit more. It's still chaotic, it's still crazy, but we're also seeing a lot more people than in the first. So it's interesting, but it feels like it's a different kind of genre to the original, a bit like Alien and Aliens. It feels that stark of a difference. And they're doing different things in this one, right? Like, I think an overarching theme is grief and religion, which it's interesting to an extent, but it doesn't really get explored. Also, with the grief angle, I feel most people have experienced a level of grief in their life, right? And with that grief, you do understand what happened. Now, because I think a big thing depends on how new the grief is, right? I think that would be a big thing in what we're seeing, but that's never mentioned. Because, if someone has just passed, they're definitely closer in your mind, right? And trying to deal with that loss and believing the loss is still there, right? That it actually happened. Be like, no, it must be a bad dream, right? But when it's been a few years, even a year, you've come to terms with things in a way, which I think is an important distinction, but that's not explored at all. And you feel it should be, because there is something that does get mentioned towards the end, and you're like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Everyone, right? So yeah, there's these things and these leaps of faith, in all manner of regards that we need for this film. Right? There's some interesting bits, like the whole Sebastian Anna bond, right? We see them celebrating at the beginning. Now, they get jumped, right, by some blind people, which you're just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? How fucking, like, ain't being funny, but I ain't gonna be able to sneak up on people. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, to get jumped by a blind person, you are slipping like a motherfucker, right? You are slipping, son. Oh shit. If you can't avoid a blind person, you might as well give up, right? You do. That's like the Darwin Awards. You don't deserve to be around, motherfucker. Right? That's the fact, son. You know what I mean? Come on now. right? So we see this, and I think that says a lot. That made me have serious pause to what the fuck we will be seeing with this film. Because I'm just like, nah, that's not happening. That's not happening. What are we doing? Right. And I think then there's that's a big leap of faith, right? You have to suspend all reality for that. And then that's what that sets it up for what we then have. Because there's a lot of things going down that you're just like, are you telling me no one else is a light sleeper? Right? Is that what you're telling me? That no one else is a light sleeper. No one else is gonna hear someone. What? Like what? And there is too many slips in like the conversation with this thing, and you're just like, wait, so no one is picking up on all of these little, you know, no one's hearing this person talk, right? That's a big thing. No one's hearing. Like, well, we go through a point of no one's hearing, then suddenly, and you're just like, wait, so what happened earlier? Right? What? Huh? Where are we going? What are we doing? You know? So there's all of this where you're just like, it makes no sense. Then you have this thing, right? And we see it a lot in films where people have a certain perspective and then they change, but the change is just like, what was it? Because literally a second ago they were there, and now we're meant to believe they've done a 180. Is that what we're believing now, right? And you're just like, no, you need to have something substantial happen for people to believe someone will change, right? That someone will change, you know? It's like at the beginning of the pandemic where people were just like, no, I'm going to stay in, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like, wait, hold on. You're saying that my business can't open, but the big conglomerate can open? Go fuck you. And that made people change, right? Because it was something big, something where you're just like, wait, I see hypocrisy here. But in this film, there isn't that pivot, that fulcrum to make anyone change. And that was like, Now, we look, there are these weird things going on with the scripts, with this supposed religious angle they're forcing in. We do get some interesting stuff put in, which then kind of opens this up to more spin-offs, right? To more stories set in this universe. Hopefully any new entry isn't as, because they remember Sandra Bullock in the first one, red cloak, blue head. They've got the Claire character dressed up exactly like Bullock, right? The only difference is you know what I mean? Claire's black, Bullock's white, right? Otherwise, you've got these people looking exactly the same. Which is a bit like, all right, you're trying to connect people to that first one, but this is different, right? You can do different things. You can have different processes and thoughts and all of this, which is fine because we're going in a different angle with the film in general, but it's just because it's just under 2 hours, right? And you just think, there's things that needed to be fleshed out a little bit more to make sense, right? Like there's a group of people, and we've got gosh, Roberto, who seems to hate Rafa, or is it Octavio? One of the two. It might be Octavio he hates, but we're just like, why? You know, like Octavio's Mexican, but is that the only fit? Like, you know what I mean? We get these things put out there, but with no like weight behind them. So it's just floating in the wind, floating in the wind, you know? So, yeah, which is a shame because there is a lot more potential here, right? Now, it's okay. The performances are good. We have some good performances from the cast, you know? I think they sell the fear, they sell the anxiety, all of that jazz. It's just the story itself can be a little bit like the clothes are too clean because there's no washing machines now, right? We don't see anyone, they're living in their clothes. No one's washing. So it's just a bit like, yo, there's gonna be a funk, right? People are gonna be grimier, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of things which aren't making any sense. There's also a lot of stuff is just you know it's happening, right? There's a whole a part of the Sebastian story because that gets drip fed to us throughout, so we understand what's happened, where it's going, all of this kind of thing, right? And that happens like 8 months onwards, before the events we're seeing in the film. So we're jumping back a lot and being like, oh, right, 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 right. And there's this one thing, and you're just like, okay, well, obviously, that's going to happen. And yeah, it does. But they do it in the way of, oh, not now, oh, but now, right? And you're just like, ugh, we've seen that too many times. You could have come up with a better way of doing that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, but there are so many holes that I think it loses the impact it could have had if only the script could have been tighter. Only the script could have been tighter. Then then this I think would be on that same level as the original Bird Box. It's still okay, still decent, but yeah, just a bit holy, a bit holy. And that's not the kind of protection you want in a world where you can't be looking at the monster, people. No holes, no motherfucking holes. But Bird Box Barcelona is out. It's on Netflix. And yeah, I do suspect we will get more